at another episode of Skinterviews. I am one of your two hosts. My name is George Skandalis, and this guy over here
is Nathan Strong.
I always feel like they don't know who you are quite yet, so I'm always like, and this guy over here is, but they've gotten to know you pretty well now.
I'm like the spare part. You're the lead singer. Let's be honest. I'm the bass guitar. I'm the drummer.
Don't be like that. We all know you're the picture and I'm the frame. That's just how it is. That's just how it is.
You know what? I'm just happy to be here. Especially for this guest tonight as well.
Yeah, I have some stuff I got to find out. So I've gotten messages, I've gotten texts, I've gotten emails. This guy, everybody's trying to find out a little dirt on him. 100%. So we're going to do some digging today, Nathan. We are going to do some digging today. He is the owner of the, and he's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is the owner of the distribution company Xthetica in Toronto. He is in the Hall of Fame, which we'll talk about that maybe twice, I think, right? Twice? We'll find out. And oh my God, there's so much I could say about him. There's so much I could say, but I'm going to let him do the talking because you know me, I like to talk and I could just talk like this for hours, but then nobody would really want it. I'll shut up. Okay, here we go. Manny Kapur, welcome to the show.
Hi guys, how are you? Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're great.
You guys are looking good over there, George. You're looking fresh and smart, and I love the last name, Skandalis and Strong. You guys have a new show. It's like Sid and Tashero. You guys can do your own show.
I love it.
We had to do something. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love the idea you guys have put together. This is going to be a fantastic thing to let people know. A lot of people in the industry get to know people, and more importantly, I think it just gives us a little bit of a laughter and a sense around the time that we're in right now when everybody's a little bit tight.
Absolutely. You know what, Manny? Sorry, I want to make sure that I got your title right. Are you owner of Xthetica or president?
I am, and I'm a founder of Xthetica. You know, I've had the consulting company probably for 15 years, but I finally decided to go on my own about 8 or 9 months ago. Probably, in retrospect, a little tough right now, but we're going to get through this. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, as you guys are, so you just find ways.
Well, we're going through it globally, so you know what? We're all experiencing it in different ways, and there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel.
Thanks. So how are you guys doing? What are you up to?
We're doing a lot of this, to be honest. a lot of interviewing, a lot of networking. But I must say, Manny, my phone has been going off the hooks from people saying that we need to get you on the show. And some of them are saying because they want to know more about you, but a lot of people are actually wanting to dig for some dirt. So like, you're like the cleanest man in the industry, but the respect you have out there amongst your peers, your competitors, the physicians, the professionals, it's unbelievable. You're almost like the godfather of the industry.
Well, that's probably true because I think I've been here for 22 years since Botox started. So, and probably the reason people want dirt is because half of the industry in Canada has worked for me, and I've paid them off well over the years to keep them. You know, I don't need NDAs like some of these other guys. I just try to make sure that nobody ever, if they want to work again, they got to stay nice.
You know what? We should have gotten the wife on the show. The wife's always got dirt. The wife always.
So, maybe season two, we could maybe get. Yeah.
You should get the wife because she's a client of both of ours, so we'll have to see how long.
We'll fact check today's interview with the wife. That's always the route to go, my friend. That's always the route to go. Should we get right into it?
Absolutely. Let's have some fun.
Let's have a drink before we get into it. Cheers, everyone.
Great idea.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Great to have.
Yeah.
All right, Manny. I want your full name at birth. Middle name, full name. What does it mean? Who were you named after? What's the purpose of it?
Well, I'm Sikh by background, Punjabi, Indian descent. Came to Canada in the early 70s, sort of from Africa, and I was born in Uganda, Africa, and then moved here probably when I was 3-4 years old. My full name is Manvinder Kapur. It's actually I had to look it up myself a number of years ago, and it's called Lord of the Heart. So somehow my parents called me that, and it's strange because I think it is probably more true than ever because I think I lead too much by my heart sometimes and follow that more than my head, but it's worked for me so far.
So I got to tell you, we've done about, I think this is close to our 25th interview. And, you know, everybody's going to see when you're getting played. You might be in slot 12 or something else, but we've done about 25 of these. And the most common question that you would think has not a lot to give is someone's full name. And we've gotten some amazing answers, but Man of the Heart, was that it? Man of the Heart?
Lord of the Heart, actually. In
Lord of the Heart.
I think that takes it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think,
wow.
you know, I feel like I got to do a dance with some fire and something, but nobody's ever asked me, so I didn't have to tell anybody this before.
Were you named after anybody specific, like a grandparent?
No, you know, in our culture, I think you know, we don't have really we believe in like one God. I'm not religious by any, but I think they just name after flowers and things in the world, you know. And so just somewhere along the way, my parents saw that as a first child, and you know, it stuck. But like I said, I've been Manny for, I don't know, 25 years, so I don't never get really asked that question.
I'm gonna call you Lord of the Heart from now on. People might look at me a little bit weird at conferences when I'm like, "Hey, Lord of the Heart."
Yes. Yeah. We'll do a little hookup and everything will be like, "Oh, these guys are pretty tight."
I would hope so. So you have a family of your own?
I do. You know, and most recently, about 2 years ago, I got married. So we call it the International Brady Bunch now, because I got some great pictures. We had a fantastic Bollywood Hollywood wedding at what we call Mullywood, which is the Mulhollands in the bridal path in the backyard. And Anne Kaplan actually went way out of her way to become our invigilator at the ceremony. So we had our friends. A lot of doctors were in the audience, and what you see there is my kids, which is 3, and Jen's kids, which is 3. So we have 6 kids amongst us. So we're the new. We think we should start. Maybe we should start our own little International Brady Bunch on your show. You know.
Yes.
So we got the city kids and the country kids from the Sault Ste. Marie, and everybody gets along great, and we have a lot of fun together.
That's brilliant. Congratulations. That looks like a beautiful wedding.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had actually, I didn't know you guys well enough then, but we had a lot of reps from all the companies, and they were like strange because everybody's looking at each other. We had people from every company there and all the doctors, and we just had a really great loving.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So talk to me a little bit about growing up, Manny, like school life, and were you a good kid, a naughty kid? Were you clever at school, or did you have to work hard?
Well, you know, I wish I was a little bit more naughty, but I was actually probably the good kid, and my brother was the bad one, and somehow he got in most of the trouble early on. But we grew up in a very small town in northern British Columbia, a town of 2,000 people. And when we arrived, so you can imagine an Indian family moves up to northern BC because my dad was a professional, had to move up for 2 years, and we actually stayed there 15 years. It was fantastic. So I grew up, you know, people thought we were strange because what is an Indian kid growing up in a small little white town way up in northern British Columbia? But I'm telling you, it was one of the best living. We had so much fun. I learned how to play hockey there. I learned how to ski and fish and hunt and do all these fun things and just being in the outdoors. And it was a great experience because it allowed me to understand Canadiana very well. I traveled the country extremely. My dad would travel across because my grandparents lived in Toronto. And then it was a small mining town. And then, you know, at 15, my dad said, you got to leave. You got to go to Toronto and go to school, high school, because everybody at 16 in these small mining towns would quit and go work at the mines for $6 or $8 an hour at the time. He said, that's not a life for you. I want you to do better. So pushed me to come to Toronto. And it was a big experience, you know, because I've never met another Indian kid or any other, you know. So you come to Toronto, it's like, where's all these people that all with different colors and nationalities? I thought I was special. So it was great.
So what did you want to be growing up? Was there anything that interests you?
Well, yeah, you know, when you're Indian or Chinese, I think your parents push you. You got to be a doctor. So I grew up loving physiology and biology. You know, growing up in the north, I was in the country. So I wanted to be a doctor growing up, I thought. But as I went through school and then I went into university, I got into both kinetics and kinesiology plus a physiology degree. And I thought in those days, in the 80s, and I'm dating myself, sports medicine didn't really exist as it does now. So I got accepted to a master's program in Florida. It was one of the first early sports medicine clinics. And I wanted to get into it and then learn how to do ergonomic design, which is like pre-Air Jordan shoes and ergonomic. And I really had an interest in that, but sadly I couldn't afford to go down there. It was $20,000 just in tuition per year, US. So that was but that was fun. And then, I said I'd go to work and got into pharmaceuticals at 3M to make some money. But as you guys know, the company cars, the lifestyle, the expense account just made it too difficult to go back to school and study another 2 years and be poor.
No, I totally get it. So growing up, were there any heroes that you looked up to in sport or professionally?
Yeah, it's strange because I have, I think, 2 or 3 different types of heroes. I think, growing up, I admired what the Dalai Lama and people like that did in the world and stood up for the goodness and fight for, the right thing, even though they're incarcerated, and many people like that, you saw their lives and what they tried to do. And then you look at the more modern ones like Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah, not that I had time to watch them, but when you'd see interviews and they really did good things for people. And when you leave a show or what they left imparted such positivity in the world and impacted many people, and people like that are great. And then, my sports heroes were people like Gretzky. So all sort of leaders leading by positivity. And those are the kind of people I wanted to emulate from all sides.
Yeah. So speaking of Gretzky, I heard you weren't too bad at the old ball hockey. We've got something here. Can you just explain this? You were
you guys are good at looking at the dirt.
Yeah.
So, growing up in northern BC, I played a lot of street hockey in the winter time, and I got very good at it. So when you come to Toronto, people don't really play street hockey, and there was a ball hockey league that started, and I put some of my brothers and my friends and everybody together on a team. We called ourselves the Gumbies early on, and then over the years we called ourselves Stealth, and we won a lot of awards. And I was a tall, lanky, fast kid, and 6 foot, and I ran like the wind, and I scored a lot of goals. And after 6 or 7 years of probably winning a lot of awards, they just gave me this award. And I actually didn't show up for it, if you could believe it, because I thought it was kind of some funny joke, winning Hall of Fame to ball hockey. So my friend had to pick it up, and he's like, they had a whole ceremony. I can't believe you didn't show up for it.
So did they retire your jersey or anything like that?
They actually did. They put it up. There's some trophy somewhere, and collecting dust. I don't know. And that's the only picture I have of it, because I never got the trophy back. So
that's awesome. And I've also got a bit more dirt on you. I dug up a photo while you've been on quarantine, so I wouldn't mind showing you this. Can you please explain this to the viewers?
That's hilarious. So Karen, who works for me and worked with me for the last 20 years, one of my great marketing geniuses, I was doing a Zoom call with, I think for Universe Skin at the time, and I just let my hair grow out, as we all did, just let it go. And she said, "Oh, you look just like that interesting man, and you should have a Xthetica commercial behind you." And she made one and post, and I guess you found it, because I wouldn't let her post it. So you guys do your homework. It's pretty funny.
Hey, you can't get away with anything on Skinterviews,
I know.
We're a big company. We got to know people working.
Yeah, you guys are working. As you can see, I shaved for this one because I was like, I'm looking way too old in that. And my wife says, I'm going to disown you if it's not the way I married you. So I had to go back to good skin.
Tell us a funny story growing up.
Well, you can imagine when you're the little brown kid growing up in an extremely white town and you're playing ice hockey everywhere, right? People would be like, either you're native Indian or you couldn't possibly be East Indian, because they don't play hockey, right? They don't get on skates. So everywhere I went, people were, and surprisingly, I became quite good. I practiced hard. I played a lot, and being one of the taller kids growing up, I just and so everywhere I went, people were like questioning, like, where did you learn to play hockey? And my hockey team at the time protected me like crazy. So you'd go to small towns, and sometimes not really racism, but they just didn't understand, right, who you were and what you did. And more importantly, I scored a lot of goals, so they were after me all the time. So I was a skinny little kid that was got run over a lot. And so my team would, back then, if you've ever played hockey, watched hockey, all sorts of stuff happened. So they would beat up people for me. Sometimes I'd be lying on the ice and I'd be like, I have no idea what happened. And I'd see a scrum and a brawl going on around me. And I'd come off the ice and they're like, do you know that you start these things all the time? And I'm like, how? I don't even throw my gloves down. And they said, every week there's a fight because of you. You know?
Let's talk a little bit about high school. Do you remember, did you go to prom?
I did. I had a beautiful burgundy with big bellwether and flary bottom suit on. Thought I was the coolest kid going, because back then you had a lot of color and hip hop was big, and you had those big flary pants. You guys are way too young to remember that, but yeah, that was me looking good. Now I look at it and go, wow, I can't believe I did that.
Did you have a date for prom?
I did.
Do you remember who your date was?
I do.
Are you allowed to say her name? Where is she today?
I don't know. It was my first girlfriend, like official. We probably were going out for a few years. I don't know where she is, so I won't. But yeah, I'll give her initials RM just in case. And she hasn't told.
Hit you up for some skincare, right? You never know.
It was fun.
You know what, Manny? It's kind of nice because we were able to track her down, and we're about to bring her on the show tonight.
This would be like an hour and somebody jumps out of the box.
So growing up in BC, little brown kid, who was your ultimate celebrity crush? I mean, like, who is the girl you wanted to put a poster up of on the wall?
I can't be that creative. I mean, I had a lot of ones with the old Charlie's Angels and things like that. But in our time, Farrah Fawcett was it. That poster was the most sold poster. Everybody had it. You had your Ferrari and on the wall, and you had Farrah Fawcett on the wall, and everybody had that. It just was the way. And if you didn't have it, people would be like, "What, are you crazy?" Because back then you couldn't see any other skin. So her in a bathing suit was like a big deal. So that's the one I grew up with her beautiful long hair, and she was our star. I don't know if you guys know her.
Of course, the hair, everything. Yeah, she's a legend. Yeah. In all your meeting people, because you've met a lot of people throughout the years, did you ever get Farrah Fawcett?
I did not. I never got. I think back then there was not a lot of travel, so I didn't even know if she ever made it to Canada, and I never made it to LA back in the early days, but. I met a lot of good stars post that, but most of them through a lot of stuff, launching products and a lot of promos. So it was fun.
Do you sing in the shower?
Every once in a while, it started probably, it's a good question. It started way back when I used to do exams and I'd get pumped up. So I would study all night or do whatever you needed to do to get ready. And then I'd go in the shower and I'd pump up and I'd crank. I had a great stereo system, still do. And my favorite song was by Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. And I'd do the long drum roll and I'd just crank it over and over. And I'd just get pumped up and I'd be like, and I'd sing it.
What song is In the Air Tonight?
In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. It's a really great rock and roll song.
Can you give us the drum solo?
Yes. And you just go, and my hair back then was even longer and, a little bit of a spiky. So I'd just be bouncing around, then I'd be ready to go. And I still do that before big stuff. I crank it, get pumped up, and out the door I go.
Tell me the last lie you told your wife.
My wife. She's definitely going to hear this, and then she's going to be like, I'm sure I tell her little lies every week to keep her from getting crazy. But probably that during this whole time of COVID, that everything's going to be all right, and meanwhile the bank account's draining empty, and she is also in the industry, and I'm sure she's got the same. But I'm like, don't worry, honey. You know how many places we're going to find money? It's fine. Don't worry.
True. Yeah. We're going to get through this. I promise. I know she's watching, so we are going to get through this.
Yeah. She keeps asking me every day, are you okay? Do we have money? I'm like, don't worry, we're fine. And, it's like there's probably some days not a lot of money in the bank account right now because we're trying to take care of everybody. But you know what? we've hit not many times. As an entrepreneur like you guys, I'm sure the bank account's been empty many times, and somehow, somewhere, things just start going, and you have some fun. That's just part of living this way. You go from wherever, and you figure out how to get to the next place.
The universe has an incredible way of making things work out, so I'm sure it will. Hang in there. We're all going through it together, so we're all going to be there. We're all going to come out of this laughing about it one day. Know that we're in history books. So.
Well, like everything else in life, you need this type of bullying. When I grew up, bullies were what made nerds and other people stronger, better. And that was what sort of drove me to be better in everything, in sports and work. I just wanted to be better when somebody said you couldn't do it, and I don't know if you've been watching the Jordan trilogies of The Last Dance lately, but it's the same thing. You just needed somebody, to push back, and then makes you grow better. So COVID is just like that for us. I think it will allow us to change, figure out what we're made of, and really transform ourselves into a new being, because it's going to force all of us around the world to think differently, act differently, do business differently, and treat our families and our friends. And, it's giving us a chance to think about who we are, what we want to be, and how we want to, live our lives. And this is a great time for us to think that way and transform, instead of thinking the opposite, that it's doom and gloom.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Manny. I love that. So let's talk a little bit of cooking in the kitchen. Now, I know you travel a lot like us because you're on the road a lot. So often you're eating out during the working weeks. So on the weekend, when you get a bit of time to yourself, is it you or the wife that's the main cook in the household?
Jen loves cooking, so she would definitely be the main cook. If I can help it. My eldest son lives here with me, and we Uber Eats is our cook a lot right now. And the rest of the time I do travel and eat, and so I don't cook a lot, but I'll be known to cook a little bit. And if you call barbecuing cooking, then yeah, I do it well.
Okay, then. So you've got the opportunity to invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, any 3 people in the world. You're obviously going to cook a barbecue for them. Who would those 3 people be, and why?
Oh, that's a really good question, because it got to be interesting people. I think I would probably invite Michael Jordan. I'd love to hear sit him on the table. I probably, like I said, some of my heroes. I would love to have Ellen DeGeneres on, and see how she takes what she does. A whole different take. So you got a sports celebrity that's done amazing things, and I like the comedians too. So Kevin Hart or somebody like that would be a lot of fun. We'd have a table full of rock and roll and laughter, and I'd like to invite you guys all, and we could have some people cooking for us and having some fun and drinking lots of great wine, and a table's got to be full. There's no way we should have 2 people.
Cheers to that. So, Manny,
great Thanksgiving dinner. Good, it'd be a good time to celebrate and invite a lot of people to a nice, when we finally could get back together. And I think this year's Thanksgiving should be one of those that we should cherish.
I agree with you. I think that will be about the right time where I think things will be very much loosened up for all of us, which will be great. Yeah. So you're into your sport. You're very busy professionally as well. And so I'd love to know what Manny does in his spare time to wind down. What do you do to relax?
Like I do sports. I love playing with my kids. I've grown up, from a very early age. When they were young, I played street hockey with them because I grew up like that. So my boys don't play a lot of video games or anything. If they get a chance, they're going to be shooting hoops outside, pushing me to get outside and play. Even now, when I'm sitting here and I'm working on my computer all day, my son's like, "Get your butt outside. Let's go do something," right? And just because they're used to playing, and so we do that. My kids and my daughter, I spent a lot of time with her figure skating. She loves hiking, and she travels the world. I can't keep up with her the same way now because she loves climbing and hiking, and she's going to go tree planting this summer because that's what she loves to do, and she's just graduated with a chemistry degree and she wants to tree plant. So that's, so they're varied background. I love to spend time, each of them are really important in my life and for different reasons. And I promised each of them, that when they graduate, we go on a nice father-son, father-daughter trip and anywhere they want in the world for a week. And you get to know your kids really well, and you have a lot of fun. But they push me pretty good to do a lot of things that are out of the box still.
Love that. Awesome. Okay, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about business. And on behalf of Skinterviews, I'd like to congratulate you for In 2018, you were inducted into the Canadian Healthcare Marketing Hall of Fame. That's a pretty amazing achievement. Like, excellent stuff. Tell us a little bit about that award and what it meant to you.
Yeah, like anything, I think the problem is I've been around so long, and you start winning these awards because probably somebody feels like they got to owe you something. So, so either that or somewhere along the way somebody paid a lot of people off to make this nice. But this was kind of special actually. We had came out of left field. I got nominated by my team, but also a number of other people, and they only allow 3 or 4 people per year. And it's from all walks of healthcare. It's not only our aesthetics. In fact, I'm probably one of the few in the aesthetic space. It's pharmaceutical, medical, healthcare. So it's a pretty big honor to be part of a Canadian Hall of Fame. I think there's only, in the last 10 years, maybe about 80 people inducted for different parts of it. And so amongst the peers, it was really nice. And it's 20 years of achievement in marketing, in launching products. So I think I take that seriously. It was a lot of fun. But at the same time, it makes you feel a bit older that people are starting to recognize you when you get awards of Hall of Fame, stuff like that. That means you're about to retire.
No way. Not you. You know we're close.
No way. Well, congratulations, mate. And we couldn't think of a better person who deserves an award like that. And let's talk about launching products, because that's what you've done and what you've been known for your whole career. So tell me, how the hell did you lose 5 million masks?
What happened is just this crazy time. My good friend, Dr. Elaine Chin, who runs the Executive Health, she said she was looking for something for one of her cancer patients, and she needed this patient had to go into the Sunnybrook Hospital, and there was no masks and PPE available. So she calls me and said, "Manny, you can always find sources for everything. I need a box of masks." That's how it started, honestly, a little box of masks. And the next thing you know, I started searching, and this was early before really COVID hit, and before the countries were chasing masks. And I reached out, and the sources were in obviously Shanghai through a very good friend of mine in Spain. And she said, "No problem, we'll get you the mask, we'll set it up, we'll get the delivery going." And we sent some money. Dr. Chin put together a large deposit to send it. She said, "I trust you, Manny, this is a lot of money we're putting down to get these masks." I said, "Don't worry, the rest of them we'll send them to charity, to the Sunnybrook Hospital Foundation. We'll make this right for everybody." And surprisingly, it went crazy. The 5 million masks were getting ready. We couldn't figure out where they were in Shanghai. And then the government got involved. I got the Minister of Finance of Ontario called me, the Minister of Procurement in British Columbia, the federal government said, "What can we do to help? Because we're having trouble, and you have 5 million masks. Can we get them on a plane? Can we get them here?" And I had all these people chasing me, and I thought it was going to be a simple thing: bring 5 million masks to Canada, help the charities in Toronto, and they were all looking for it because, at the time, 20,000 masks given by Home Depot was a huge deal, and I thought, wow. 5 million masks. I never thought about it, because that was the minimum order. They said that you have to have 5 million masks. We won't start the factory without it. And we could not find them. They had people on the ground, and we could not locate our pallets of masks. And we found out later. And I won't be out of turn because I don't want anybody coming after me in any part of the world. So we found out that a number of countries had lost all of their PPE supplies, and they were transitioned on the tarmac in Shanghai. I guess they were shanghaied and taken away. Yeah, so we tried really hard. We had huge foundation help. People decided to put money down up front to take care of the frontline workers, and we could have helped a lot of people in Sunnybrook, the University of Toronto Foundation, and then even spread it across the country, because there was a lot of masks in the early part of this. It was very early March. But what came of it was very good. We couldn't get the masks, and to this day, if you can believe it, I'm still having trouble procuring any masks. And this is 2 months later. It's the hardest thing to get that are actual authentic N95 masks. It's just very difficult. There's a lot of counterfeit. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? And it's hard to. But Dr. Chin, very much an entrepreneur and a real charitable person, put together a challenge to decide how do we get money and masks from all over the country and around the world. And so this Masking Together challenge, which is right under my name there, got born. And it was a site that got born for trying to find hotel rooms for frontline workers, PPE and gowns and masks for everybody that needed them. And we basically started putting money into a charitable foundation, and then these foundations through Sunnybrook and University of Toronto were able to procure masks at whatever it costs. And to date, I think the collection's been well over $10 to $11 million now into that fund, and it's only been less than 3 weeks old. So thank you to everybody that put it. We had, other than just us putting it together, we had nothing more to do with it, but it's all to charity of U of T. So hopefully it's helping a lot of people, and the hotels got involved. We also took care of a lot of people with food and sent food to a lot of frontline workers that weren't getting fed. So I think, I haven't seen the front lines myself, but I think we're taking care of a lot of people, like many, many other people are, which is a nice calling for everybody to try to help in this time.
These are the reasons why you get awarded the way you do. It has nothing to do with you getting close to retirement. I'm gonna be like a dad here. I don't want to hear no more nonsense. Okay.
I just want to transform myself each time, and you're right. Just so I can annoy you guys a little bit, because you guys are young and new. I'm going to try to stay around a little longer, just so I can see and tell you. I'm going to turn the tables on you. Now that you found enough dirt on me, I will come after you.
I got dirt. I ain't hiding it. I got dirt. I want to just say that, you know what? It's proud to know somebody that does stuff like that. I mean that wholeheartedly, not just because we're on the show. I'd say it off camera too. I feel pride knowing that there are people that do these kind of things out there, because there's nothing greater that someone can offer than a sense of humanity and things that grow and build people to come together. And that's brilliant. So for everybody watching, make sure you head over to maskingtogetherchallenge.ca and do what you too can help. Wow. I'm gonna turn it totally on its head right now. I'm gonna ask you a question on the negative side. I want you to tell me what pisses you off about our industry. After 22 years of experience, you can name people if you want. Don't worry, nobody watches the show. We can, do little voodoo dolls. What do you need? What do you got here? Give me some dirt. What pisses you off in our industry?
I think, the one thing, I don't have any ill will to anybody in the industry. Everybody has their thing and they grow from it. Our industry is full of characters, as all from many doctors, many reps, all sorts of people that come through it, and they're all colorful, and it's wonderful because you learn a lot and you see a lot from everybody, and it makes what our industry is fun. The pharma industry, which I was in prior to this for many years, was quite boring. There was many rules and everything followed a certain path. Now you get into this industry and there's all sorts of craziness that goes on, and even our clients are, our end users are very crazy and getting crazier, and that's probably the one thing that bothers me the most, because it creates this feeling, aesthetics as we know it. We want good work, right? We want good outcomes. We want to see good filler and good lips. And over the years, between the bad technique and the pushy clients wanting more and more and more, they're getting these crazy looks to them, and they've lost sight of sort of what a normal look should be. And I think that creates scariness for others. There's a reason why still we're only at 10-15% of the opportunity of the population. Every company is chasing the fact that there's huge growth, but we can't easily get there because half of the population looks and says, you guys are all weird. And when you say, well, you're from aesthetics or beauty, people are like, you're the guy that does that stuff? And that's what I don't like to hear, because I believe that I want to do good things even in this market. And there's the stigma around going to a clinic because you come out looking strange. And I wish we would stop that so it could make the industry grow bigger, because there's so much good work that people don't recognize, and that's what you should have, and say, look, I do stuff, and I look totally normal and refreshed.
Absolutely. So who does a guy like you with that many years knowledge, that many years experience, who do you look up to in our industry?
Honestly, and it's kind of strange that you guys ask that, because there's so many people. Every day you learn, and you're part of it. What you guys are doing today, and what you've been doing, and evolving yourself into something new and interesting and exciting doing this is I look up to it, because you have the desire to try to create something new and make it interesting. It's not selling one thing, even though you work for Vivier and you've done great things there. But this is something now you've evolved into that is helping people laugh, people understand, people learn. And honestly, this is the kind of people I look up to. You guys are inspirational because it allows people like me to, even in my 50s, to say, look, you never could stop, right? Because somebody keeps coming up with a great idea, and you now will impart so much wisdom to your large masses of people with all your different great interviews that you do, and people are going to think, yeah, I want to be that person. I'm capable of doing that. I have it in me, and it'll inspire a lot of people to do it. And I think more people and more companies should sponsor this, because this will become a great thing that you guys are doing. And honestly, inspirational.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is why they call you Lord of the Hearts. 100%.
This is why you can't find dirt on me, because now what are you going to do? How are you going to treat me bad after that?
That's great. When we get to that conference, I'm like, hey, Lord of the Hearts.
Exactly. That's what my team and my wife will be like, oh Lord, again, people are saying this, how does he do it? It's like I'm like the whisperer that makes people, I mesmerize people with something. So
Lord of the Heart, what are we going to do after COVID's all over? What does Lord of the Heart, what's the one thing Lord of the Heart wants to do when COVID's all over, restrictions are gone? Explain what your dream night out or dream day with your wife, or what would it be that you're going to do?
Well, I love big gatherings. I love throwing parties. Every time there's an opportunity for a good party with lots of music and lots of drinking and lots of eating, I love to do it. So we're going to have to throw a big party. Basically, let's celebrate that we're together, we're having fun, we have a future together, and let's all get and break some bread and just have a good laugh, because these are the tough times, and we know that there's an opportunity at a party, and that's the first thing we should do. The work will come, all of the other things will come, but people getting together and laughing and telling stories and cheering each other up and hugging it out, and people need that. We haven't hugged each other in so long, and all of us are huggers, and we need to have that. We need to have some of these meetings where we're together and having some fun and laughing, and I think that's what we need to do. Get out there, and I challenge everybody in the summer, when we're allowed to do it more, and start with a small group. It doesn't matter. Start with 5, 6, but celebrate it and have some fun, just like we're doing tonight. You know
what, Manny, when you're ready to have that party, Skinterviews will come and MC it for you.
Yes, I like it. The problem is, I know you two can drink, so I'm going to have to get a lot more alcohol because the interviews will last probably 30 seconds, and somewhere along the way, somebody's going to hand you a drink and a drink and a drink, and you're like, what are we doing here? So let's do it. I don't mind at all, but you'll bring the mic around and see what people can do a little bit.
You've done your research too. I like that.
Absolutely. We're just being nice with white shirts tonight.
Man, but if I could ask you, what do you think?
Oh, we lost.
Exactly, right? What do you think is holding back the world today?
That's a very good question. There's probably multiple things, and we're probably seeing it now more than ever in this crisis of it's almost like a stop and go penalty for the world and us as a humanity. And it's probably this where our evolution of our kids and our future of the selfishness of thinking about me, thinking about money, and just that sort of living, right, and forgetting the things that are important. And maybe this stopping and spending time with your families and your children and talking. When you see some of this stuff, some of the parents have not sat with their kids forever, and so this mental disease, this depression comes from the fact that people don't have people to talk to. They're sitting on, computers and phones and getting beat up on a social media platform somewhere. But, having camaraderie, laughing, talking, friendships, love of family. I think those things are probably backing us up a little bit and saying, this is the way it used to be. And it's good that we have a bit of a reset. So, that's probably the most important thing. Try to remember that none of us have money. Even the rich are struggling with different things, and yet we can still live. And what's most important is that we can still spend time, break bread, and help each other through this time. And maybe that's what this little virus is trying to teach us is that we need to work better together and be more selfless with each other. And maybe, that's my take anyways, but I think that would be what the world needs right now.
I love that. And I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
We are getting towards the end of our interview. When we get to this point, we do a section called Quickfire Questions. We want single answers at the top of your head. Some of them are this or that, or we get to ask you and you got to answer a quick answer without putting too much thought into it. I want you thinking a lot here, okay?
All right.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Red or blue?
Red.
Black or white?
Gray.
Gray or red?
Gray or red? Oh, that's a good one. I still think gray.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Burgers or pasta?
Oh, both are really good at different times, but burgers.
Burgers. Burgers or French fries?
Oh, French fries are my. You might have searched that out, but I love French fries.
Favorite drink?
My wife will kill me, but Coca-Cola still my favorite drink.
Champagne or wine?
I'm a wine guy. Champagne's too rich for me.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. You can only bring one skincare product with you. What is it?
Well, I bring my Universe Skin. It's got a multiple number of products. I have it right in front of me actually because I was hoping you might ask.
Oh, look at that!
And the perfect plug. I love
There
it.
we go.
I use it every day, and it gives you, I can mix 19 ingredients, and I can any given time, if the face changes, I can fix myself. So
There you go. As a distribution company, you can only pick one here. The product you're most proud to distribute.
I would say, again, Universe Skin. I've launched a lot of products. I've launched Botox and Restylane and lots of filler, but this is extremely unique. And it's and because it's Skin Interviews, a lot of stuff with the skin. It's very unique, a product line. It's developed over 10 years. Very exciting. And I think we're early stages. Canada is one of the earliest countries, but we're about to launch in the US, and we'll see some amazing things when this thing launches. And you should interview the guy that actually developed it because he's been around the world, Harry, and done a lot of good things.
We'd love to have him on. We'd love to have him on. And he's a Greek boy, so.
Yes.
Few more questions here. Pizza or steak?
Pizza.
And coffee or tea?
Different times, both, but I'll start with a coffee in the morning, and then I'm a teetotaler the rest of the day.
All right. And Nathan or me?
You know what? I love you both, so I'm going to stay right gray in the middle on this one.
Gray said Gray from the start. He's a safe player. I like
it because you gotta have a little bit of everything. There's no one or the other in my mind. There's always a learning of both. Look at you both. There's an opportunity to learn from both of you. Be part of. You have very different backgrounds and great looks and great energy to you. So you have to have both in the room at the same time.
Thank you so much.
We're joined at the hip. Come close this way. You see, we can.
Yeah, I know. We should all. That's the closest we're gonna get to a three-way.
That was the first three-way we've had on Skinterviews.
You've had some very beautiful women on Skinterviews, and you had to have a kiss with me. That's crazy.
You're a good kisser, Lord of the Hearts.
Well, I think we've covered a few continents together on that one.
We have actually. We definitely have. So, Lord of the Heart, we always ask 2 questions to finish the interview. But before I ask those questions, I just want to say thank you so much, mate. You're an absolute legend. George and I both look up to you, and we hope that when we're at our stage of your career, that people think as highly about us as they do about you. There is not one person in this industry that has a bad thing to say about you. In fact, people go out of their way to say what a tremendous person you are. And this is the reason why we did things like Skinterviews, because we wanted to highlight the amazing people that make this industry so great. And this is the time to do it when we're being hit the hardest, because we are going to come out of it, and people like you are leading the way to get us out of it. So thank you so much.
Well, you know what? Kudos and cheers to you guys too, because honestly, you guys are doing an amazing thing here and making people laugh, learning a little bit about each other. So the same to you. You guys are an inspiration. I'm hoping that this thing will go on for years and years to come, and it becomes bigger than life. So make it happen.
Cheers, mate. We will. Cheers. So, Lord of the Heart, what's your skincare routine these days for isolation?
God, you guys are going to make me feel like I'm a promoter because I keep saying it. I was ready. So I'll tell you, because I'm ready. I get my little shot of fame. So
here we go.
I use it's all Universe Skin because that's really a simple program for us. It's the O is an O cleanser made in Greece from Greek olive oil, special, high end. And it actually, I didn't know this myself, that oil cleans oil very well, makeup, skin. And I don't use it for that very much, but I actually use it in my hair. I'll leave it in my hair at night and in my scalp, and especially in winter, it dries it out. And this is really, really excellent olive oil. We just launched it, but it's really people love this product, and I'm going to send you guys some.
Awesome, thank you.
Then what I will do is I use this pea serum. I've got a mix. My wife had to make it because I can't even actually access my own warehouse right now. But it's a mix of aloe vera, madecasside, and ferulic. And as you guys probably know, this is just one of 19 ingredients. But I used it because it's a little antioxidant, a little bit anti-aging, and a little bit of moisturizing. And I use this, at night. It's really simple. You put it on like a drop or two, and then, and look at that. Right away, it's very nice with biomimetic peptides. And then I'll probably finish it with a 1. And I actually use skincare, which is surprising because growing up in northern BC, I would be laughed at for trying to, as a young guy trying to use skincare, but it works for us in the drying and polluted country city that we live in. So yeah, it just comes in little boxes. It's a lot of fun. And that's what I do. And a little bit of hydration for others. And once in a while, I don't use it, but I did it with my boys one day, all the hockey players. I got them. I said, let's all mask together since we're doing masking together challenge. And we use these hyaluronic acid masks just for fun. We put it back, and it might even be on our Instagram. And we laid back, and 8 guys were sitting with a mask on, the guys that would never use a mask in their life. So we had some fun.
That's awesome. So last question, and then George will close the show. Who do you want to see on the show next? Or is there multiple people you want to see on the show next? And can you help us make it happen?
Yeah, there's some great people in our industry all around the world. I'd be happy to, I mentioned Harry Arampitis from Universe Skin in Nice, France. He's a great and interesting guy. He's been traveled around the world. People like Dr. Stephen Liu from Australia, a worldly, plastic surgeon, Dr. Arthur Swift, Sabrina Fabi from San Diego, very, very beautiful and really intelligent. I know you have Doris Day, who is a great friend of mine, and she was amazing. But the one person I think would be so interesting, or 2 people if you had them together, is the Mulhollands, Ann Kaplan. They're crazy and they're fun, and they've been here from day one. They actually were the first people I met separately 22 years ago, and I went to Dr. Mulholland to ask him how to launch Botox and try to figure out why anybody would inject this stuff in their face. And then Ann used to run these early New You shows long before their time, and we tried to inject people in a convention center, and no word of lie, there would be 300-400 women, and they would stay 20-30 feet away. Nobody wanted to come near the stage because they're scared of it. And 22 years later, she can run things, and she has stories to tell about what she's done. And if you've ever seen her Instagram, she's funny. And one of the brightest women I've ever met. CFO and CEO of a financial company in a men's world. That would be the person I would suggest, because she knows skincare. She laughs at herself. She's been a housewife of Toronto for who knows what reason. And then she can run a financial company that's $1 billion. So if you ever want to have some good laughs and real learning, I think a woman like that would be outstanding. I'd be happy to help introduce you to her if you don't know her, but I know you know her.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Have Ron. I would love to have them both on. They're both great. And Nathan got to say a thank you to you. So before we head out, I want people to head over to Xthetica's page on Instagram. It's at XTHETICA. I also want you guys, if you can, to head over to maskingtogetherchallenge.ca and help out in whatever way you can. And of course, you can always look at Health in a Box, which is something new. We're not going to tell you about it. We want you to head over to the website and learn all about it. There's great stuff happening here. And I want to take the time to really say that I'm proud to get to know you better today. I knew of you very well. I knew the stories of you. I did try to find dirt. You're clean today, except for the thing on the show. You know, we'll look it over. But I really want to say thank you for taking the time and doing this. I know that you're busy doing a lot of stuff right now, and getting ready for the coming out of this of the COVID isolation. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the kind words, because we do this and it's always nice to hear it. I got to admit, we like to hear the good stuff too. And we like to hear the criticism. So if you have some, we're going to park you backstage while I keep the show. So from all my heart, Lord of the Hearts, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Nathan. This was a lot of fun. And honestly, I wish you guys extremely great luck. I think this is going to be fantastic. And, I, for one, will sponsor your future events and get you guys really getting to the next side, because people need to hear it and see it. And you guys are doing amazing things. Real inspiration. Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. Cheers.
To all our viewers watching, I hope you enjoyed this amazing interview with Manny Kapur. And there might be somebody you want to see on our show. We are getting towards the end of season 1, unfortunately. I know, right? Womp womp. But we've got an amazing season 2 lining up with a new format, a lot of new questions, a lot of new people. We may be branching out from beyond the US. We are talking to some people in Europe. And as you just heard, Manny recommended somebody in Australia. So you never know where the show is going to take us, who you're going to meet next. If there's somebody you want to see on the show, all you got to do is send us a message on one of our social media platforms. That could be on Instagram at skin.terviews or facebook.com/skin.terviews. Of course, you can find us on our professional pages on LinkedIn, and you can always see all our videos on YouTube. Lastly, I'd like you to follow both myself and Nathan on our personal pages at Nathan Strom, and of course, _skin_guy, which is me. Thank you for watching. Please keep your family safe and always take good care of your skin, or I'll find out and kick your butt. Have a good one. Take care.